Ladies and gentlemen, if you grew up anywhere in the Santa Clara Valley, over in the Sacramento or San Joaquin Valley, this next sound coming from the front end of a big Boeing Stearman biplane. That's the sound of it. Would have been made by a lot of drop dusters in the late 1940s into the 1950s and 60s. And look at how that beautiful red biplane climbs so quickly in the sky with that magnificent radio engine. Vicky's going to get turned around and begin the first of her maneuvers here. And like I said, throughout the day, she points the nose straight up and then continues keeping the stick all the way back there in the good old Barnstormer's loop, one of the four basic aerobatic maneuvers. Another variation of the loop as she goes up side number 2, over the top for number 3, and side number 5, 6, 7, octagon loop or a stop sign in the sky. At Air Show right, again, stick all the way back into her lap now as she points the nose straight up into the heavens, hard on the left rudder pedal in a classic hammerhead turnaround, also known as the Hollister Air Show. Is flying from behind the aircraft. Oil called Corvus oil. It is a non-polluting oil that was developed back in the 1930s. It's paraffin wax-based, and it's injected onto the hot exhaust pipe of the engine. And this was by design to allow air show audiences to follow a beautiful and graceful barrel roll maneuver, a World War I maneuver that allowed an aircraft to slow down at the top of the roll if it had an enemy plane behind him, and the enemy would hopefully fly past it into his gun sights. A wing over at Air Show right, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about the aircraft that Vicki is flying. It was produced by the Boeing Aircraft Company, rolling off the assembly line in 1940. It was one of almost 10,000 Boeing Stearman biplanes that were designed and built as primary trainers during the Second World War. Flight training in. Originally it was powered by a 220-horse Continental radial engine, but through the years this particular aircraft was modified with the addition of the 400 Pratt & Whitney, and she'll use every bit of that 450 horsepower as she turns around at Air Show left for another spectacular wing over, which shows off the beautiful lines of this 1940 biplane. Diving in from the left now, you'll hear that very raspy sound coming from the nose. That is not the sound of the engine, but rather the tips of the propeller blades as they are breaking the speed of sound with each direction of the rocket. Over the top are 5 position, and then continues down to the Air Show left area of the stage, and once again the stick all the way back into her lap as she completes a maneuver called the Cuban 8, or the horizontal lay-down 8 in the sky. Now, Vicki at the controls is flying an airplane that was originally designed to be a trainer. Over the years, these aircraft were modified for a variety of uses. Ag aircraft, air show airplanes, even bigger engines up to the 600 horse. Pratt & Whitney were used on these aircraft. Was the addition of a second set of ailerons on the upper wing. In the case of this aircraft, that is not so. It still has the 2 stock ailerons on the lower wing. So while Vicki has the power lever in her left hand all the way forward, she then uses both hands to control the stick, because this aircraft is indeed a big heavy airplane to fly the way that she's performing in it here today. In the sky. That's keeping positive G on the aircraft, so because it doesn't have the inverted fuel and oil, the engine will continue to run. Once again, left rudder, the stick goes over to the right, and perfect hammerhead turnaround. At the end of World War II, this particular airplane was sold by the War Office. replaced a chemical hopper, and this aircraft became a crop duster. It served for many years in the Sacramento Valley in this capacity until 1973, when the aircraft was parked. And through the years, it sort of languished, but eventually restored by Stearman Aviation in Yuba City, California, into the configuration that it is in, is flying now. It was completely restored, but instead, the original 220 horse Continental, they went with the 450, and that is what makes it the outstanding air show performing airplane that it is right now. Now, Vicki Benzing grew up in Watsonville, California. She learned to fly at the Watsonville Airport, and initially started in a vintage World War II tailored craft L2. Once again, up and over the top now, you can see the beautiful airplane as she comes around the backside once again. She'll fly this aircraft up and down the West Coast, but also throughout the rest of the United States, as Vicki has become one of the featured performers at the annual Experimental Aircraft Association's week-long aviation extravaganza, which also includes air show performances on a daily basis. And Vicki has earned the reputation of being one of the finest display pilots here in the United States. Consequently, she now is also a member of the Air Show Performing Troupe at Oshkosh, which will take place at the end of July. Once again, barrel roll. And like I said, trust me, she's got both hands on the control stick. In its stock configuration, the Stearman biplane weighs in the neighborhood of around 22 to 2,300 pounds. With the addition of the cowling and the heavier prop and 450 Pratt & Whitney, this airplane weighs in as Vicki demonstrates right now in that beautiful knife edge. You hear that hesitation? The gas quit flowing to the carburetor for just a little bit of a heartbeat right there. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Vicki Benzing is going to get set up for what will undoubtedly be the most demanding, the most difficult maneuver she will perform, and she's going to take her time at this one. Ladies and gentlemen, from your air show left, Vicki is now going to get set up to land. You think I'm kidding? You know, a good landing is one you can walk away from, but a great one is when you can use the airplane again. Watch now as she touches down here momentarily, because she's going to keep the tail up just as long as possible to provide her with as much forward visibility as she can, because once that tail comes down, then she has to use her peripheral vision, and she does it. A perfect wheel landing, and the tail slowly, when she runs out of flying speed, will come down. She's going to hold it up there just as long as she can, but eventually it just has no choice but to settle onto the runway. One of Air Show's favorite performers like that. She has been for quite some time. The popularity is growing. In fact, she's flying more air shows now in the Stearman than she did when she first got started in the Extra 300. And this year at Hollister, she's flying both of these aircraft. So later this afternoon, she will be back in her German Extra 300 monoplane. And our air boss, Jody Lewis, has just shared with me that both of the two Grumman S2 fire bombers are inbound right now. And so before we launch the next of our demonstrations, we are going to recover these two aircraft. But it'll give you an opportunity to give Vicki a wave as she taxis past, and please do so. Following her second performance, not this one, because she's got to prepare herself for her performance a little later this afternoon in the monoplane, but following her second performance, she will be back over at the booth we told you about earlier for California Aeronautical University. You will have an opportunity to meet her at that particular time. She will be signing autographs. So give her a wave as she goes by, ladies and gentlemen. An outstanding performance. Now she taxis down. Look at the ship. There she is, folks, Vicki Benzing in that beautiful 1940 Boeing Stearman biplane.